Hello, guys. As promised, here is my detailed vlog on my road trip from Kenya into Uganda and then into Tanzania. So, I love starting off my road trips early in the morning. For this one, I started at 4 a.m. because it's quite the journey to the Congo border. So, a few hours later, we were in Kisumu. I think this was about 6 hours of driving. And Kisumu Lake Victoria is the midpoint between Nairobi and Kampala. So lunch is necessary, of course. We stopped at the Pearl. It's real this really cute cafe that is on Lake Victoria. And when you're over here, you must get a fish from Lake Victoria. The value of the fish, the quality, it's top notch. And you could get it dry fry, you could get it wet fry. For me, I decided to do wet fry because I don't eat that many carbs. And so with wet fry, the fish comes with soup, some veggies, and this is what we were working with. I mean, it was so big, fresh, delicious, and you're just sitting there facing Lake Victoria, which was amazing. So we're just gonna appreciate the destruction of the samak, okay? The samaki. But I thoroughly enjoyed the food. Sometimes just living in America, you forget how good food tastes like. Kisumu, we headed on to Busia border. Now, Ugandans are very strict, so I couldn't take any pictures of any signs or anything. But my experience at the Busia border was absolutely horrible. I ended up spending $235 on top because we didn't have car insurance that goes into Uganda and they took advantage. Sorry to say. But at this point, we ended up arriving in Kampala very, very late, so I didn't take a video of my Airbnb. Guys, I was so tired after driving 16 hours to Kampala that I forgot to record my Airbnb and also the whole day of driving. But this is us finally arriving in Kisoro. And Kisoro is in between the border of Uganda and Tanzania. I stayed at this gorilla lodge. And this is a little breakdown of what my room looks like. It was absolutely beautiful. The bed was big, it was comfy, and it had a lot of amenities, surprisingly, because we were in a very, very rural part of Uganda. I mean, there's no electricity, there's no Wi Fi, but they make it work with solar panels. Anyway, yeah, I went to sleep, and then next morning I had to wake up really early because the gorillas, you have to be there at 7 a.m. for the breakdown. So I had to check on my documents. It costs $1,500 to get a license to see these gorillas. And if you're East African, I think it's about $97 to get the same type of license. So I had to make sure I had everything. And then after that, typical fashion, I had to gobble down some food. I started off with a tropical smoothie and then some fruit because my tummy was not settled from eating in Kampala the night before. But it's a rainy season in Uganda, in East Africa in general, so a lot of fruit is growing unless it's being disrupted by floods. And it was so fresh. Again, living in America, you forget how good food tastes like. And so, again, for the documents, you have to get your license. I think it's 6 months prior to your trip. And so I was fortunate enough that my lodge host was able to get the license for me. So when I arrived, I just got my paperwork, prepared my ID, and there is a dress code. Cargos, obviously, but no dark colors because those are they attract tsetse flies. And this is an insect that causes a sleeping sickness. So I decided to go with a white thermal, a camo jacket that's sort of green, and my pants were stone or nude color cargos. So after I ate my breakfast, we had to pambana on the way because we had to keep climbing up the mountain. So this is around, I think, 6 a.m., the drive to the top of the mountain of the entrance to Bwindi Impenetrable. It was about a 30-minute ride. You'll see why. It's a very short distance, but the roads are not paved. So you are driving on very uneven roads, which is very scary. So I wanted my driver to take his time carrying this precious cargo on top of the mountain. I had to go back and see my grandfather. So anyway, I'll stop the voiceover because I think I included a very long eating video. I don't know. I just thought I had more to say. See you in the next clip. Hold on. So yes, now it's about 6:30, and we were driving up the mountain because the entrance to Bwindi Impenetrable is all the way up the top of this part of the mountain. So again, the ride is just gorgeous. Uganda is so beautiful and green, but then you're welcomed with these women doing their traditional dances. They always do it every single morning to the visitors that were here to experience the Congo gorillas. Not Congo gorillas, mountain gorillas. But these dances were absolutely gracious. I was so shy. They invited me a few times to try and dance, but I'm very shy. So before you go into your hike, because it's about 1 hour hike from the entrance, they do this dance and they explain to you why they bring these women out to show their culture. Is because it's very hard to get water on top of the mountain. So a lot of these women resort to entertainment, which is very beautiful, and then they rely on donations to develop or buy things like water tanks. So after that beautiful dance, I had to be given a debrief. So you are on the DRC Uganda border. Again, this is the only place in the world, including Rwanda, that you can find these gorillas. So after that, we started our hike into Bwindi Impenetrable Forest. I didn't realize why they call it impenetrable until I was in there and struggling to walk. I was in the jungle. But look at these beautiful walking sticks that they give you at the entrance. And yeah, just let's enjoy my clumsiness, because I was just hoping that I make it on time. I was just hoping that I don't slip and just end up accidentally hitting a gorilla, because that's the beginning of a war. But I was accompanied by 4 soldiers. They have guns and machetes, so I felt absolutely, completely safe. Not that I wanted anything to happen to the gorillas, but I'm a scary cat. And then they tell you to put on a mask because we share 98% of our DNA with these gorillas. They're already extinct, so we don't want to give them anything. And so how they start the tour is once they sight a gorilla, they have a timer for 1 hour. You only get to spend 1 hour with these animals. And so they start hitting the trees to force the gorillas to descend because they think that the tree is being chopped down. But we are not making any, I don't know how to say it, but it's not a negative thing. We're not chopping down the trees. It's just the vibration to bring the gorillas down. But it was absolutely magical. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You do get some showers down on you, but he scared me. The way that he is flying down these branches, what? But yes, also you can't follow them in a straight line because you don't want them to feel threatened. So if they go straight, you're supposed to walk in like a curve-like motion. And once I was told to sit down, take a picture with this gorilla, I started asking myself, why is he looking at me like that? Because I was scared. Anyway, I found this mom and baby playing on the trees, and the guards told me to just stand there and take it all in. It's absolutely magical. Everybody, if you have the opportunity to go and see these mountain silverbacks, please do take that opportunity. The air is clean. It's so green. Ugandans are so welcoming. I don't know how to emphasize this enough, but it was absolutely magical. And then you only get to get, I think, 10 to 6 feet. That's the closest that you can get. Again, we have a lot of diseases as humans. We don't want to give it to them. They're already almost extinct. So we need to protect these creatures at all costs. And so this is my boyfriend. I mean, this is a adult male, and they eat about 30 kilos of food. They eat all day. So it's really nice that the forest is not interrupted so that they're able to get all their nutritions. And again, when I told you Bwindi is impenetrable, it is impenetrable. I had to like catch a backpack ride, book back ride, a back ride, piggyback ride to cross these rivers because I saw my soul just drift away with the with the currents. I cannot walk on such strong moving waters, but these men were absolutely nice. And I'm like 10 pounds, so it was no issue getting me across the river. So at this point, we're crossing into the other side of the forest, and our tour was almost over, but there was another family that they wanted me to see on the other side of the river. So this is me getting there. Kind of sad, but I made it. No comments. Again, the love of my life, I mean, I keep confusing this. They just look so much alike. Anyway, I'm just joking, but I mean, I saw this kid with a handmade scooter. Came back to some fruit and then enjoyed the rest of my afternoon in front of my cabin. It was overlooking the forest and the mountain ranges, so I just had fun. It's so green and beautiful. But this is the drive back the next morning. I don't want to say beautiful again, so I'll just let you enjoy the scenery. And at this point, we have transitioned into Tanzania. As you could tell from the landscape, it's kind of flat than Uganda. My first stop was getting a Tanzanite. I am going to check out Tanzanite. It is a rare gem, more rare than diamonds, very hard to find, and it's only found in one area, that is Tanzania. So let's go and experience it, maybe buy a ring, who knows. Oh, by the way, I could only afford the smallest stone, which is okay. And then the next day, our second stop was Serval Wildlife. Now, this is a privately owned piece of land that they have allowed this guy to bring animals that have been injured in the wild. So it's kind of a rehab for these animals, and they have been taken care of by people. So that's why they're so friendly, and they're open to walk just freely, as long as you don't freak out, which I was trying not to do because you'll freak them out. And then this is the only place in East Africa that has white lions. They are native to South Africa, but this is Casper and his sister, or Casper and another girl. They were brought in. They are only 1 year old, so you can only imagine how big they're gonna get. But I had a very interesting time being around these lions because I'm a scary cat, but we made it work. I was really trying to be calm. And then I got to feed different animals like the wildebeest. And then my favorite is the giraffes. They're extremely strong. They almost knocked me over. Some, I don't remember the name of these. They're not wildebeest. Elk? Dik-dik? No, dik-dik is smaller. And then I always wanted to touch a zebra. Waboimosore, as we call it in Kikuyu. And she was absolutely beautiful. I had so much fun with her. She was very welcoming to me. And then again, the day was over and I was back in my Airbnb. Next morning, I decided to hike up Materuni Waterfalls, which is very large waterfalls in Tanzania. And surprisingly, the hike there was very difficult due to the heavy rains that we've been experiencing in East Africa. And so the path has been kind of like eroded by mud. As you'll see in like some parts of it, it was very, very difficult to walk in. And then I saw this building, decided to ask what it was. But this is a local bar, local pub, and they sell banana wine. I thought it was absolutely cute. But as we continued with the hike, this is when I start wondering why I sign up for these kind of things, because I was breathing heavy, had to take off my sweater. It was cold, but I was hot. And we are nearing the waterfalls. I couldn't breathe to save my life, and I don't know how I was gonna just finish the hike, but I did it because I'm so proud. I will not say that I cannot do something. You better pick me up off the floor and call a stretcher and a helicopter rescue, but I am not giving up. And that's on Mau Mau. But yeah, Materuni Waterfalls was absolutely amazing. And after that long hike, I had to go and experience some healing, and that was made possible at Kikuletwa Hot Springs. Now, the entrance to here was, I think it was about like $6. And if you don't know how to swim, you could get a floaty for about $3. But again, I don't require any help. I would rather drown than get a floaty. I am very proud. But I had so much fun here. Anyway, guys, that's kind of it for my East African travel. I promise I'll get better with vlogging. I'll watch more people that do travel vlogs so I'm not as awkward in the videos and I could include more details. But all in all, I ended up spending about $350 in fuel and just the awkward $235 at the entrance of the Busia border in Uganda. But other than that, this whole road trip didn't cost me anything more than $600. So if you have the means, please get to it.